Started. And first, I want to just welcome back everybody into another session of StayFi's Marketing Mastery Series. And today is all about building email campaigns with StayFi's new email campaign builder. So I'm going to go over some basics around email to get started with, and then I will jump right into the new tool in your StayFi account and how you can start using it to send emails much easier in a click or two. Before we get started, just some basic ground rules here. Over the course of today's session, please use the Q&A button in Zoom to ask any questions. I actually have my colleague Yvonne here, who, if your question is pretty straightforward, he can actually answer it via chat. And then, of course, at the end, we'll have plenty of time to go over any additional questions, and I'll cover some of the top questions that he received. We do have upcoming sessions, so we have this webinar every 2 weeks. Next webinar on October 1st will be all about measuring direct booking success, how to deliver a positive ROI. So we'll go over techniques and strategies for all size companies about how you can start to measure your direct booking efforts and actually understand what value it's generating for your business. And then obviously how you can improve on those stats to deliver even more value and make your short-term rental business more resilient and profitable over time. And then on the 15th, we're going to talk about 3 ways to drive direct bookings, kind of outside of StayFi, but then connect those back into StayFi so that you can construct a successful book direct strategy that not only leverages StayFi, but leverages a lot of the tools that we integrate with. And then, of course, all of the previous sessions and this session as well will be available on StayFi's YouTube channel, which we send a link out to after every session and in our weekly newsletter. And that way you can access not only this recording, but any other of the other recordings on any topic that we covered in these sessions. So just a little background on StayFi's email marketing tool, if you're not familiar. We have an email marketing tool within StayFi's platform that is a replacement, let's say, for a tool like MailChimp that you might be familiar with. And what's great about our tool is that it's completely designed and catered to the short-term rental and vacation rental industry. So we have a setup process now that will help you set up your email account. And then today we'll talk about some of the new ready to send campaigns we launched in the platform. And I'll show you exactly how you can use those to send relevant emails to your entire guest list or email marketing list, emails that we know convert at a high rate. And what's great about our tool is that it's free to get started with. So when you, in your StayFi account, when you enable StayFi email marketing, it'll be free up to your first 200 contacts. So you can start sending emails right away and you won't be charged, and you can send unlimited emails to that list. And then for all of our paid tiers beyond 200 contacts, we kept the pricing competitive and actually cheaper than the alternative most folks are using today, which is MailChimp. So if you do use MailChimp today and you're paying for, thousands of email contacts in your database, you'll find StayFi to not only be a less expensive option, but an option that's better catered to this industry, as obviously MailChimp is built for just about any type of business to use. Today's session, there's kind of 6 sections. Number 1 is going to be about DNS setup. So I'll explain what this means, but it's a vital first step to when you set up any email tool, and especially our tool, to make sure that it's set up properly so that all your emails are getting sent to the recipients and aren't getting blocked, let's say, in a spam filter. Then I'm going to show some of the new updates to our email marketing tool, and then actually how those tools actually work by going through them in our StayFi demo account. So I can show you how to set up these new one-click campaigns in a StayFi demo account, so you can go ahead and do it in your own account today or in the next weeks. And then finally, I'm going to show some other examples of the types of emails that people are sending using StayFi email that are generating revenue for those businesses. So you can get inspired with some new ideas around types of campaigns that you can send. And then finally, we'll do a Q&A at the end. So to get set up with email marketing, the first thing you need to do is configure your DNS. Your DNS provider is the place that you typically purchase your domain. So that could be something like GoDaddy, Namecheap, Cloudflare, Bluehost. You see the examples here on the right side. If you set up your email before, you know that we had a process by which you did this. We actually launched a new way to set up your DNS provider connected to StayFi that's even easier. So if you're setting up your email marketing now, you'll get taken to this page where you put in your URL for your website. We automatically detect which DNS provider you're using. And then depending on if it's GoDaddy, Squarespace, Namecheap, etc., we'll provide you the different instructions you need to verify your DNS and kind of do the verification. What that means is essentially this is how you prove to our email tool and to anyone that you're sending emails to that you own the domain that you're sending from. If we didn't do this or this didn't exist, right, then anybody could just send emails from any domain and we would have no way to verify that you own the domain. So this is basically required to have your emails be sent and not go into people's spam folders. Is basically we're going to go through this process to prove that you own the domain that you want to send emails from. If you haven't done this already and you have StayFi email, this is now where we're going to redirect you because we need to complete this step or basically your email marketing is not going to work. And then if you have any questions about how to do this, you use a provider that's not listed here that may be less common, you can always email support@stayfi.com and we can get on a call with you and walk you through how to configure your DNS so that you can reliably send emails from your domain. One thing to note is that you do need a domain to send email marketing. So if you don't have a website yet, or maybe you don't own a domain yet, I definitely recommend buying one because you're going to need to use that in order to send emails from. So definitely you'll need to get a domain from GoDaddy or some other provider in order to effectively send emails. Once you configure your DNS so that you prove that you own the website that or domain you want to send from, what StayFi email marketing does so well is also we will pull in data, not just from the Wi-Fi, but from really any source of data you may have to supplement your list of emails you're sending to. So obviously with StayFi, we set up the service in your properties that uses the Wi-Fi to collect data. The next place you can get data is from your property management software. So if you haven't already, make sure you integrate your property management software with StayFi. And what we will do is go through all of your reservations in your software and pull in any real emails you've ever collected there, as well as future emails that you collect there with any new bookings. And that way, any real email data in your property management software is automatically getting added to your email marketing lists. So the whole universe of data you'd want to market to is available within our tool automatically. And then, of course, you can also upload lists. Like if you have a list of owners you want to email to, or you have a list of guest data you've collected in some other way, you can, of course, always manually import CSV lists. And then, of course, you can also connect our email tool to forms on your website. So if you want to collect emails on your website, you can connect our tool to those forms and we can help with that. You can also use our tool to set up like pop-ups on your website. So you can have a pop-up that's like, get a 5% off coupon or get an area guide when you submit an email. And then in our system, you can trigger an automated email that gets sent to that person once they input their email. So Wi-Fi, software, manually uploading lists from your website. We can connect to all of those sources. So all the guest data that you could possibly want to use is being synced into one system to do powerful email marketing. So definitely set that up if you haven't already, so that you can maximize the guest list that you're sending to or a list of data that you're sending emails to. And you can also handle emails to other audiences within StayFi, things like owners or prospective owners as well. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the upgrade we just released to StayFi email marketing. You'll notice, I'll jump over to the tool for a second, that when you go to StayFi email marketing, we have this new homepage or main page that has some new features on it. So I'll explain what those are. Basically, we have new one-click campaigns that are both automations and one-off emails that make it extremely easy to set up and send effective campaigns to your email marketing lists. So we're designing pre-built templates that you can easily configure using our tool. And that way you can send emails or set up automation within minutes. And we do all the complicated merge fields and guest segmentation for you. So we kind of take a lot of the technical or more complex side of email marketing and really simplify it so anybody can send emails in a few clicks. Of course, you can send as many emails as you want to your list, so there's no restrictions. I know for other tools like MailChimp, they actually have an upper limit of the number of emails you can send, and then you have to pay more. With us, you can send as many emails you want to your subscribers. Obviously, our tool does all the seamless integration with your Wi-Fi PMS, so everything will be here. And like I just mentioned, setting up these emails takes a few minutes. So rather than going through our existing or we still have all of the tools we had before. So if you want to design more custom templates, you can do that. But this is really going to make it a lot easier to send effective campaigns in a few minutes as opposed to taking more time to do that. Right now, we have 2 one-click campaigns that are released, and I'll show you what those are and how to set them up in a minute. Those are a Wi-Fi welcome email, so an email that gets sent to every single guest when they log into the Wi-Fi, and then a general one-time newsletter campaign that can be customized in many different ways. We're going to be releasing new one-click campaigns over the course of the next few months. So we'll be sending updates, but you'll be seeing new ones come into your StayFi email marketing tool on a regular basis. These will be things like a post-departure automation, so emails that get sent automatically after the guest leaves, a rate and review campaign. We have that now in text marketing, but I know a lot of people have asked for it in email, so that will be an automation where you can drive more 5-star reviews to, Google or your website or to other third-party review sites. An automation that goes out to any data or emails you collect through your PMS, so pre-arrival, things like 30 days post-stay, another check-in, sending an email on guest birth dates if you collect their birthday, anniversary email, so sending an email like 7, 8, 9 months after the stay, asking them to rebook. All of those will be one-click automations we have in our platform. And then when it comes to one-off emails, we're going to have more specific emails outside of a general newsletter, things like something focused around a promotion, last-minute availability, which I'm super excited about. So we'll actually look at your calendar, see which properties are not booked in whatever window you specify, and build an email around that availability. So you can send an email about certain upcoming windows of time you want to have booked that are very specific for your properties. An email that's about announcing new homes you might have under management or that you've purchased, special holidays, featured events, featured destinations. So there'll be a lot of one-click campaigns that, let's say you're not sure what to send this month. We really want to inspire you with a ton of different ideas and then make sending those emails a breeze. And I'll show you exactly how that works right now. So like I mentioned before, when you come to email marketing, after you verify your DNS, you're going to be taken to this new page. Up top, we'll basically be able to confirm that you have all the sources of data set up with StayFi. So it will show you here, yes, I do have Wi-Fi data that's being synced in. If you don't use our Wi-Fi tool and you just use our email marketing tool, that's totally fine. This will just show you, hey, if you're interested in Wi-Fi, here's how you set that up. And then, of course, your property management software. Here we highlighted Logify, but if you haven't connected your PMS, it will prompt you to do so. So that way you can maximize the amount of data you have in our email marketing tool. And then, of course, if you have data outside, you can always import a CSV. Or if you're moving from a system like MailChimp, you can download your subscriber data there and upload it into StayFi this way. Then down below, this is where you'll find the one-click campaigns. And like I just mentioned in the last slide, there are 2 that are live right now that you can use. And these are the 2 that we always recommend that everybody starts with, which is why we launched them first. The first one, and I think best one to start with, is your Wi-Fi welcome email. So this is the email that gets sent to every single guest when they log into the Wi-Fi for the first time. So it won't get sent to PMS guests, just folks logged onto the Wi-Fi. You pick a template layout style, and then it takes you to our simplified email builder. So I'll explain how this works. When you do this the first time, it's also going to ask you for some branding elements if we don't have them already. So you'll be able to configure things like colors, fonts, your logo. So all of that will automatically be in here. So it would show your logo and have your colors and fonts. But this is just kind of the generic one we have set up as an example. The new welcome email will open. We'll have some text that we fill in for you, which of course then you can go and edit. So for instance, the email will have the title of welcome to property name, and then we will insert the name of the property in your system. If those names aren't really ones you want to show guests, you can also just change this to welcome to your company name. So again, totally up to you. You can edit that content here. Then in the intro text, this is totally customizable. So first name, we're thrilled to have you as our guest, and then you can change this to introduce your brand in any way that you'd like, with the idea this email is going towards everybody logging into the Wi-Fi, not just the booker. So you definitely want to introduce your independent brand to everybody. As for instance, if this is an Airbnb booking, they're probably most guests just think they booked a quote unquote Airbnb. And this is a great way to get your brand and start introducing yourself to everybody there. Then you can pick an image for this main image, and we already will have any image you've uploaded into StayFi. So you can, of course, pick one you already have or upload a new one. If any of these sections you don't want to have, you can also just deselect them like this. Then we give you space to add some custom text, which I'm going to deselect. And then I think one of the coolest features we have is we will automatically fill in these buttons with whatever the right link is for that property. So the first button here, explore more, this we call amenities and attractions. Of course, you can relabel it. This is going to fill in a link automatically to the homepage for that property. I'm going to just show you quickly how to take a look at your home pages again after we're done here. But this way, every guest will have a link to the homepage right when they log into the Wi-Fi. If you have a guidebook associated with each of your StayFi properties, it will link to the right guidebook here. So I'll show you again how to check that. But we see people link their TouchStay, Hostfully, Breezeway, Folio, a PDF. All of that can be linked to here so that your guidebook is available here. And then often that's also usually linked in your homepage as well. Then, of course, we have a website button, and then you can have another button here, or you can deselect it if you don't want to fill one in there. And then at the bottom, we have this kind of book direct widget where we really emphasize at the bottom of this email why they should book direct, and you have the option to add a promo code here. So this, once you're done here and you decide you like this, you just hit continue, and then we will go ahead and create this email for you in the email marketing tool. And when you send it out to guests when they log into the Wi-Fi automatically, like I said before, all those links will be dynamically filled. Then you just set a subject for the email. So you can do welcome to property name. Then you pick the sender name. So who do you want to send this from? I'm going to send it from StayFi. And then you pick an email you want to send it from, and then the domain you verified will be here. We can verify multiple domains. So if that is an issue and you want to have, you have different businesses that you want to use for this for, just let us know and we can verify multiple domains for you. And then if you want replies to be sent to a different email, you can actually set that up here. So it will come from StayFi at stayfi.com, but if someone replies, they'll actually go to support at stayfi.com. Once I do that, then we're pretty much ready to have this go out. What it's going to do is going to take you to our automation builder within StayFi. Right now, there is a little bug here where this preview on the right is incorrect. So if I actually go in to edit this email content, it will take you now with this email in the full email builder. So if there's more customization you want to do that wasn't available in our kind of like super easy one-click builder, you can now use the full builder to edit the email from here. But it's essentially done for you, and you can go ahead and turn on this journey right here. And this is a fake account, so it's not going to let me do that, but you just click it on, turn it on, and this email will start getting sent to every guest when they log into the Wi-Fi. One important thing to note is that that email has those dynamic links to the homepage and to the guidebook. So what I would do is just, if you want to make sure that you have, let's say, guidebooks associated with each property, if you go click on a property here, you can go see the guidebook. Here we have link to Hostfully guidebook. or you can upload a guidebook if you have like a PDF guidebook. If you have a lot of properties, we also have this bulk editor, where if I bulk edit my home pages, let's say, I can also go in and edit the guidebook link for all of these. And as a reminder, as we also link the homepage there, I definitely would go and check your homepage setup too. So if you go to edit homepage template under Wi-Fi experience, here's where you decide what links you want to have on your homepage. So here's a great example where we have purchase late checkout, purchase early check-in. They're using our partners, the Hostco and Viator. I'm not going to go through all the upsell strategies, which we have a separate webinar on. But just so you know, you go to here to check your template to see like what buttons you want to offer. And then to go see the homepage for each specific property, you hit bulk edit homepages. And then here you can preview each homepage, and then you can edit the specific links for that homepage. So that way, this is what the guests will get linked to in that email. So if you are doing upsells, late checkout, you are selling activities through Viator, all of that will be one click away in the email. So just make sure if you do link guidebook and homepage that you're linking to assets that you really like and that you've made sure to check all your properties to make sure they're set up correctly. Now that I set up the Wi-Fi welcome and it will say pending activation until I actually turn it on, I'll show you how the newsletter builder works. So this is very similar, but this is just setting up a one-time campaign that gets sent to whichever group or segments of subscribers I'd like to send it to. Again, we have some basic options here. And then it takes you again to a builder. This has a lot of sections where, again, you can decline which sections you want to use. We've already filled in some text for you. And then what kind of to note here is we have this featured properties builder. So in this case, there's 4 properties, but you can have just 2 displayed or just 1. And then for each property, you will put in, so property 1, the name, you can add a photo, and then you can add things like a description, bedrooms, bath, 4 guests. And then a link to that property. And then we'll automatically fill in all of those details here in a nice looking way. And that way you can create a grid of 1, 2, 3, 4 properties here with all the relevant information and links to book them. Then we kind of have this featured activities and events section, which you can edit. Let's say there's 2 activities that you really like that are in Viator. You could go to your Viator affiliate program and link to them here. And then, of course, make revenue if anyone books those. Or you can decide, hey, in this newsletter, I don't want to have that piece, so I can just deselect it. I only want to use the property piece. And then down below, we also have this property management widget, where do you own a rental property? A lot of people like to put this in every email so that if there's any past guests or prospective owners on their list, they too can inquire about property management services, and then you can link them to whatever that is. So this says 1 property, so I can get to the next step here, which I can show you quickly. Always just be patient, as this email builder takes a little bit of time for every email we create. Then we have to go make it for you. So just be patient when you click on that, as it might take 5 or 10 seconds. Then again, you set up a subject line, a sender name, email. You can have a different reply to. And then the only difference here is because this isn't an automation where we're sending it to each Wi-Fi login. At this step, you can select who you want to send the email to. Again, if you click edit here, you can now edit this email in the full email editor if you want to make more detailed customizations. Then within here, when you select your recipients, it's kind of important to know that with StayFi, we add data to different lists depending on the source. So Wi-Fi and data from your PMS will be in 2 separate lists. And then, of course, if you added additional lists, you can select those here. So you can send it to whatever universe of data you like, Or maybe you're just sending a newsletter to your owners, and so you're only gonna send it to your owner list. So you can again pick. And then when it comes to sending, you can send immediately or you can schedule for later. So you can do this newsletter and then decide, hey, I'm gonna send it out tomorrow. There are some cool additional features in here, like A/B testing. So you can, if you have a large enough list, you can like A/B test two different open rates based on different subject lines. And then if one gets a higher open rate, it will send that subject line to the rest. So you can play around with A/B testing too. If you want to, if you have a large enough list, you can play around with different subject lines and see which appeals to your audience more. And I always recommend you can preview or send a test email. So you can send a test email to yourself and make sure it's appearing the way that you want, and you can try all the different links. And then once you do send a campaign, it will appear in the normal campaign section where then you can, once they're sent, see all the different stats for open rate, click-through rate, all of those things. And then I will mention all of the features that we had before that are more customizable are still here. So you can create custom automations that are way more complicated than our simple Wi-Fi welcome email. You can still go to templates and pick from all the different pre-built templates we have in here so that you can, send more custom emails. But the main purpose of this new landing page for email marketing, or a new homepage that we offer, is just to provide very easy to set up campaigns where we've done all the hard work in terms of setting up the automation and filling in the correct merge fields for all the different types of emails we think would be great for you guys to send. And then, like I mentioned, every month going forward, there will be new one-click emails in here. So there'll be more variety of different types of emails to send super easily to all of your lists. And they are going to get more sophisticated. So we'll be able to integrate with your property management software, pull in property information, pull in pricing information. So the idea is to continue to make more sophisticated one-click emails that really go beyond what anyone could just do on their own with the kind of regular custom templates that we have. So the aspiration is to continue to make more and more valuable emails. And kind of one way that we source emails is with some of our customers that opt in. We can actually see what emails that people are sending that are very successful. So now I'll just talk a little bit about kind of a little more inspiration in terms of what you can use even right now, that one-click newsletter builder to send, and where we're going to also be launching those new templates so that you can build emails just like this in a few clicks. So one that's definitely coming down the pike in terms of a very specific builder is around last minute availability, because we find this is a great way that often converts into immediate bookings. So here's one just example email I know converted into bookings for this particular customer. They were offering obviously a pretty generous discount off this weekend. So they wanted to fill some open nights that were coming right up because of some cancellations, which is actually mentioned in here. So if you do have cancellations for some prime periods of time, this can be a great way to fill those in last minute. And you can see in this email, they built this in our tool, but now it should be even easier in our one-click campaign builder. And you can see on the right here, over half, even though their audience isn't that big yet, they had over 700 people they sent it to. Over half of them opened it. They had a high click-through rate. And I know they booked, a few, if not, at least one of these properties off of this one email. So even you might thinking, hey, my list has less than 1,000 people. Can I really generate bookings? Especially if you're in a drive-to market. These last-minute deals work great, and they help kind of align the available inventory you have with demand. So because you're marketing very specific nights to your guests. And this is a great way, if you look ahead to, let's say, your October calendar, you could perhaps show in our newsletter, which properties have availability in October, maybe even reference those dates and see if you can drive bookings to fill those specific periods of time. Special deals also work great when you send them out in through emails. One thing I like to point out is, let's say that your pricing is pretty close to the pricing on the OTAs. That gives you some little extra wiggle room to discount because obviously if you book direct, nobody's paying those OTA fees. Also, I think generally from a pricing standpoint, we see folks have higher prices for dates that are further out, and they typically fall over time as those dates approach if those kind of dates are still available. This person was offering, 20% off winter stays way out in advance, like months in advance, 6 months plus in advance. And I know they also were able to secure some bookings now with this discount code by promoting inventory that was far into the future and securing those bookings direct today instead of having them come through later through an OTA where there'll be fees and the price would be potentially lower. So if you have availability, maybe not immediately, but far out in the future, think about how you can leverage promo codes to help fill that inventory far in advance directly through your website. And then finally, another type of email we see gets very high response rates when they send out is new property announcements. So if you are either acquiring new homes or managing new properties, this is a great way not only to get bookings for that property right away, but also to show that owner that you're taking extra care in marketing their inventory. So one thing I always like to do is recommend people include their owners. If you do have a list of owners in your email marketing tool, definitely add it, but then include it on your regular newsletter so they can see how you're going above and beyond what a typical property manager is doing to promote their properties with direct bookings. And here you can see they did off an offer off the new cabin, which also was super nice. And then they showed some additional inventory in the rest of the email. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to have specific one-click emails for all of these types of emails in the future, in the next few months. But for now, if you did want to send them, you can use our generic newsletter builder to build pretty much any of these types of emails by using the different sections that we have in there. That pretty much brings us to the end of the presentation. Just to give a small recap, uh, check out the email marketing section within StayFi. If you haven't set it up yet, it's going to walk you through the DNS verification process to prove that you own the domain you want to send from. If you have any issues with that, please contact support@stayfi.com and we'll make sure that it's set up correctly. Then once you're in here, definitely make sure you're syncing all of the data you can into StayFi so you have the largest possible list to send through. Also consider uploading data from any third-party sources. I always recommend if you use our Wi-Fi tool, start with the Wi-Fi welcome email so you can make sure everybody's getting that introductory email. If you are going to link to your homepage and to a guidebook, make sure that A, all your guidebook links are correct in StayFi, and B, your homepage has interesting information you want to share with your guests right when they arrive. I definitely recommend looking into the Hostcoat and Viator as our upsell partners because those are great ways to monetize the stay even further, selling things like late checkout or tours and activities. And then finally, once your list has, around 500 people, I would then start considering, hey, maybe start sending a monthly newsletter or send emails similar to the ones that I referenced before that are very aligned to specific objectives, things like filling specific last minute dates or doing things like promotions for periods further out in time, new property announcements, etc., or blog posts or whatever you'd like to feature, right? That's what we typically want to put in a monthly newsletter. And that way, once you start sending an email every month, your brand will stay top of mind with the guest. And then when they are booking their next trip to whatever destination you work in, they will definitely want to come to your website and check out your listings and book directly with you, as it obviously is advantageous for both you and the guest. And then, yes, I'm really excited to hear people's feedback. We are excited to see people use the tool. And then as we launch new one-click emails, you should start seeing those in this dashboard and then in some of our announcements as well.